So I'll start by going over the code, and then I'll run it over some test cases. So first off, I use the option YY_line_no, and this gives us access to the global variable of the same name. And this will have the line number in it when we find an error. And down here I define YY_user_action, and what this is going to do is this part here will be executed before the action of each rule. So before all these return statements, this is going to execute. And what this does is, first we initialize column to 0. And whenever it finds a token, or whenever it does one of these return statements before that, it's going to add the length of the token that it finds to this variable column. And this will let us get the column of where it'll get us the point in the line where the error is found. And down here, I just define some names for some regular expressions, just to make the rest of the code a little more readable. We have escape characters, invalid escape characters, which is very similar. It just has this one added. Decimal literal and hexadecimal literal. And these are the rules and their actions. It's all pretty standard. This one here is for character literals. Number 7 here is a comment. Most of them are pretty simple. Number 20 is an integer constant. It can be a decimal or a hexadecimal. Number 43 is the string constant. 49 is white space, and 50 is white space for new line. And 51 is an ID. And this is purposely put last because you're going to run into problems. For example, if this line was above return, for example, if it was number like 38, if we find return somewhere in the file that we're reading, it'll say it's an ID. But because we put it after, because it matches the first thing it finds, so because we put it after something like return, if we have return now, it'll be matched as token 38 and not as an ID. So that's why that's last. And then under that we have the errors, regular expressions for the errors. And they're pretty simple. Like the string constant missing the closing delimiter is the same. It's a string constant, just without the double quote at the end. This is a character constant that is looking for 2 or more characters within the single quotes. And these all return -1. Now here we have a function called getToken, and this just gives you the token name. That's all it does. And then in the main function, we loop through the tokens, or as it keeps finding tokens, we keep looping. And if the token is greater than 0, we're gonna, it'll be valid. If it's not greater than 0, we're gonna come here, but let's start here. So if token is 7, which is a comment, these are all pretty similar. Most of the time it's going to be doing this one here. It'll output the token, a space, the text that it finds, and then an end line. If it's a comment though, it's going to do the same thing, just without the end line, because a comment always ends with an end, or it always ends with a new line. So we don't want to put 2 new lines there. And 50 is a new line white space. So that's also not going to output the new line. It's just going to output /n, \n. And then if it finds an error down here, we're going to calculate the position. And And the reason I do column minus YY length plus 1 is because I want the position to be at the start of the error and not the end. If I only output the column, it'll give us the end of where it finds the error. Then we output that. And that is the whole code. So now I'll run it on these test cases, starting with this one here. There we go. So these first ones are valid, and then I have 7 error ones. We'll go to the next one. It's an escape character. Next one is an expression. And we have a character value, a character constant. Then we have the greatest common divisor method. This one's very long. Starts right there. And then these next 7 are going to be errors. So it should show every single error, every type of error. So this one has an invalid escape constant right there, as you can see. Line 11 at the very, very bottom. Line 11, column 21. And we have line 11, position 21. Error 2 should have an unterminated, or it's expecting another double quote, basically. Line 11, position 23. It's right there. Missing closing delimiter. This one, also missing closing delimiter. That doesn't escape the escaped character. And error 4 has a new line in the string. So new line in string constant. Line 12, position 21. Right there. And then E5 is there's 2 characters in the character constant. So length is greater than 1 for the character constants. This one is expecting another single quote because it uses the escaped character. Unterminated character constants. And the last error is an empty character constant. Character constant has 0 width. So yeah, thank you for watching.